Hey, what is going on, everyone, over on the Crypto Kings YouTube channel? My name is Rob, and I'm here with you guys again for another video. We're going to be talking about a few different things that you could be using to actually benefit your portfolio when it comes to holding SHIB that not a ton of people are doing right now, but I believe is something that could help you out in the long term, and something that not a lot of people are doing, as I mentioned before. And this is actually the website Lunar Crush. So I don't know if you guys know what this is, but essentially what this is a website that gauges social sentiment surrounding cryptocurrencies. Now, what they actually have is they have a central landing page where you can see all of the top talked about or the top rated cryptos that are being talked about on social media today. So, for example, the number one for today is Decentraland, which is Mono, which is like an NFT virtual world. This is kind of one of the cryptos that started the NFT craze a few months ago. Kyber Network. There's a few other ones. Australian Safe Shepherd, or ASS for short. But it kind of gives you guys an idea of what's being talked about with their Galaxy score right here, and that's an algorithm that combines a few different things, but essentially gives you a good score to go off of when judging a crypto's social sentiment. As we all know, the majority of crypto projects that aren't utility based, or the majority are, but the price of the actual coin is oftentimes more driven by the community sentiment and what's being said on Reddit and Twitter, rather than actual developments with what the project is doing, and the way that it's moving, which is kind of unlike stocks, where stocks, on the other hand, do move according to their utility and what's going on with the company behind the actual stock. But with crypto, it's kind of the opposite, and I believe a website like this is actually pretty helpful. So what you want to do is you want to find the coin that you want to look at. In my case, it's going to be SHIB, obviously, and this is kind of your landing page. This is kind of what I use when I'm swing trading my SHIB, or just trying to make a quick flip on some SHIB, make a few bucks. And I kind of use this, and I zoom in a little bit here and kind of get the updated graph on the actual price of SHIB as opposed to the social volume. So because the price of SHIB is so low, the fluctuations here are going to look small, but these are actually pretty large when you consider that the volatility of SHIB is rated at a 73%, meaning it's a pretty volatile coin. And now I don't say this is a negative thing, but it definitely is a volatile coin. It's not as stable as some other coins out there. But now the blue line actually is the social sentiment and what's being said on Twitter and Reddit and all the other platforms that they gather from, and the amount of tweets that are going out, because as you all know, the more volume around a certain crypto, the odds are that price will go up, because at the end of the day, the majority of people are buying. Not a lot of people are shorting cryptos, so at the end of the day, this is going to have a positive fluctuation on the price. So if you guys look on the side here, you can also see kind of the percentages surrounding SHIB, and this kind of tells you what the bullish sentiment is, the bearish sentiment. And now, as you guys can see, SHIB is actually red straight down the board, which you guys might find a little bit concerning. But what I would more attribute this to, and I've seen this with a lot of other cryptos on this website, is just the downward trend of Ethereum over the last few days. Obviously, we've now seen sub $2,000 Ethereum, as well as Bitcoin hanging in around $32,000, I believe. So we have seen these lower levels, these lower echelon kind of tiers for these upper end cryptos, especially Ethereum, as SHIB is an ERC-20 token. So I do think that that's kind of the reason why this is red across the board. Obviously, a lot of money was wiped off the table during the initial Bitcoin and Ethereum crash, and I do think that has something to do with the reason why the social markers are looking so bad for SHIB. Now, I wouldn't be overly concerned about this. It takes a few green days to kind of turn all these numbers around. I've seen this before, and now it even kind of breaks down over here into Twitter volume and Reddit volume. So if I click on Twitter volume here, it actually isolates the Twitter chart for SHIB, so you guys can actually see the volume of tweets going up. So for example, right here, there was a spike in tweets around this time and this time and this time and this time, and this would kind of be a good way to judge when you should be getting in or out. You could sell on these highs, especially when there's some kind of major spike that kind of really outlines is a defining few hours for the entire week. You could be swing trading like that. You can make a decent amount of money kind of doing that. And as you guys can see, the average sentiment regarding SHIB kind of hasn't really changed. So that does give me some hope that we will see a reversal of obviously we've seen the price fall over the last week, and that kind of gives me hope that we will see some kind of reversal as the days go on. But that's kind of what I wanted to show you guys on Lunar Crush. There's a lot more to look into here. You can kind of see who the top influencers are in the space that are driving the price of SHIB. A lot of these guys I follow, SHIB Informer, SHIB Holder, a lot of these people you can follow. You can also see the rank of the alt ranks. SHIB is technically an altcoin, and the Galaxy score, which I mentioned before, is their algorithm ranker. So I do think that there is is something to be taken away from Lunar Crush. And definitely, if you are not on this website, it's free, and I would highly suggest that you go on there and just kind of look at the information that's provided, and gather better judgment about altcoins before you invest in them. In this case, Shib, because we do talk about Shib on this channel. But I do think that this is something that a lot of people are missing out on, and definitely is something that should be talked about more when kind of gauging social sentiment when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Because a lot of people will just Google it and kind of read through not Google, they'll look it up on Twitter and look through the top few tweets. But I do think there's a better way to gauge it rather than just actually looking through Twitter, using something like this that kind of compiles it all for you and just gives you the information there. So I kind of wanted to take you guys now to the TradingView site, which has decided not to work. But I did want to take you guys to the TradingView to kind of show you guys the Fibonacci analysis on what I've on kind of different things here. So I wanted to show you guys the Fibonacci retracement lines on Shib now. So this is another way I've kind of in my personal experience when I've been swing trading Shib and kind of following the up and down movements. Right now we're actually on a pretty steep decline right here, but I'm assuming you can probably make a nice little flip here if you bet on the upside. So this is the Fibonacci retracement levels, which is an algorithm that basically tells you what future resistance and support could look like. This is kind of a if you guys haven't already couldn't tell, this is kind of a video less news based, even though we are going to get to a little bit of news in a moment that is going to move the price of some dog coins. But I do think this is a decent way, when combined with the Lunar Crush site, to kind of gauge where you should be placing your bets when it comes to Shib in the upcoming days. So obviously you have the higher echelon kind of estimations of the Shib price, as well as the lower ones, and now these are obviously going to be much more likely as the hours kind of progress here. But I do think that as these candles continue to be created, you can definitely place your bets on this. Now I know I've talked about Fibonacci retracements in the past, but a lot of people don't know about this, and a lot of people just assume that when they're holding their Shib, that there is no money to be made other than price fluctuation, and that is definitely not true. If you get good at reading these retracement levels, as well as judging social sentiment in combination, you can make a decent amount of money swing trading Shib, and I've actually been able to do that over the last week or two, and I kind of wanted to share my experience with you guys rather than just bringing you guys the news, because I do think that there's a larger ecosystem here. There's money to be made in other ways rather than just holding, and I do think this is a good strategy for the slightly advanced trader who is into Shiba and kind of wants to move up in the ecosystem. So the next thing, and the only piece of news that I wanted to talk about on today's video, was the Dogecoin co-founder's statements on Twitter. And I was actually very surprised when I saw this, because I wasn't totally familiar with the Dogecoin co-founder and what his kind of political leanings were. But after reading this, I was absolutely shocked. So he actually came out against cryptocurrency and said, after years of studying it, I believe cryptocurrency is an inherently right-wing, hyper-capitalistic technology built primarily to amplify wealth and its proponents through a combination of tax avoidance, diminished regulatory oversight, and artificially enforced scarcity. He then goes on to kind of trash the decentralization aspects of all cryptocurrencies, not just Dogecoin, but all cryptocurrencies. And basically say that they're starting to shill to exactly what they set out to replace. And honestly, I could not disagree more. I definitely did not think that the founder of Doge was like this, although he has been like this for a while, and now that I'm researching it, but I didn't know this. But I do think this is going to have implication for dog coins across the board. And while I know that he is the founder of Doge and not necessarily Shiba, I do think this kind of sets out that negative ripple into the community, especially with a voice like his. Kind of speaking out against his own crypto in a way, but also speaking out against the big guys. And I do think with the market cap of Doge, we all know that it has like one of the largest market caps of any crypto at this point, even if it is a meme coin, as well as Shiba actually. But Dogecoin, this is going to have a negative effect on the price. This has to have a negative effect on the price, and this was actually just tweeted today. So I don't think we've seen the full kind of ripple effect that this is going to have as people start to wake up tomorrow and read this from him and read the articles that were written about this. But I don't think this has fully made its way through the community yet, and I do think this is going to have a negative effect on Shiba, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? You could actually use this to accumulate more, as the price will probably dip going into tomorrow. That's a pretty safe bet in my opinion. that we will see red Shiba tomorrow. So if you guys do want to go ahead and accumulate some more, I wouldn't necessarily advise against it. He kind of goes on to talk about some more. So he kind of goes on to continue his rant, and kind of against capitalism and against, he calls it an inherently right-wing hyper-capitalistic technology. And while I would agree that it does kind of suit more to capitalism than any kind of other socio-economic system on the planet, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, as we all are investors and we kind of have similar principles, and understand why this is a good thing and why decentralization is actually a good thing. And now I do believe crypto has become more centralized. I would tend to agree on that. I do not think it's anything that resembles the current financial system, and I would be heavily inclined to disagree with everything that Jackson says here. So that's really all I had to talk about with you guys today. I kind of wanted to kind of give you guys some advice on some technical analysis trading when it comes to Shiba, because we've kind of covered a decent amount of news recently, and I do feel like there's room during this kind of half cent bear market to make some money, swing trading with Lunar Crush, and obviously reading some signs on the on TradingView and other sites like that. So that's really all I have to talk about with you guys today. We do have some affiliate links down in the description for Coinbase and Binance if you guys want to get invested in some SHIB and start making some money, or start losing some money depending on how your skills are with trading. But if you guys want to get involved in that, the links are down in the description. It's been Rob. Have a good day, guys. Have a great tomorrow. Peace.